Hey there, and welcome back to Walking by Faith with God. I asked on my Facebook page if anybody had any kind of Bible questions or anything they'd like me to cover in general. And James requested that I do a study or do some information on clean eating. Now, I'm not going to actually do a whole entire study, but I am going to be bringing you guys some very good links that will give you more information instead of me covering it over an hour or 2 hours, because really this kind of thing is a lot of information. Now, I learned where you can find it in the Bible, which is Leviticus, doing a study with Shepherd's Chapel. And Dennis Murray goes into a lot of detail and explanation on all the things that Leviticus will cover. Sometimes it gets a little confusing, but he kind of breaks it down. And really, the majority of it is don't eat scavengers. Don't eat anything that is a bottom feeder. We also can't eat pork. And a lot of these things is going to be very hard for people to do, especially if you were raised here in the South. Like where I live now. In the North, it's, not as big of a deal, but, we do barbecues and everybody loves bacon. But, if you want to go over the study on Leviticus with Dennis Murray with Shepherd's Chapel, I'll put the first link right there. The next thing you really want to know about is Monsanto. So Monsanto, there's this big thing. A lot of people post a lot of stuff on it online, but Monsanto really is like in charge of a lot of the foods. They're a big corporation, and they try to control a lot of the farmers. And so I've put 2 links here below to some videos, and hopefully you guys can get some information on that. I learned a lot. There's a lot of things I didn't know. The other question, James kind of pointed to here was about GMO, and that is genetically modified foods. So that is really hard. When I go grocery shopping, you got to read all the ingredients. And I'm going to say, I am not the most perfect at getting completely organic or anything like that. What I try to do is I try my best to stay away from processed foods, the boxed foods, easy dinners, like the frozen dinners, things like that, because they have a lot of additives, a lot of stuff put in there that is just not good for you. And it's really hard because a lot of even the fruits and vegetables are just, you'll go to the grocery store and they just don't even look right. And they especially don't taste right. I can't remember the last time I could actually taste what a tomato tastes like. They don't taste like tomatoes from the grocery store. And so that brings me to, you need to learn how to garden. There's tons of gardening videos out there. I don't have any linked here below. But if you want to teach yourself how to garden, I don't have the area or the money to really do a greenhouse or anything like that. But I do have a little herb garden in my window where I have basil, cilantro, mint, things like that. But I really can't, I also just don't have the time or the patience, really. Some people just love to garden, and I'm more of, I like to crochet and sew, and my husband likes to garden, but it's just, gardening's not my biggest thing. I can't remember to water stuff. I like seeing things grow. It's just not one of my things. But I have linked down below something that I've actually tried, and you can try as well, is when you get celery stalks or lettuce stalks from the grocery store, and organic, non-organic. Organic will be better, but it'll show you in the video where you can just cut off the bottom, you put it in some water, you put it in some soil, and it grows more celery. Now, it doesn't do it very fast, and in some of these videos, it'll show there's a way to move the vegetation to where you can plant it. It'll grow better. Sometimes it works for people, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you get bugs, like gnats. So you could try that out. It's kind of cool to see something grow from something that's you're just going to throw away. And it's really neat how God designed things to be able to grow from something you're going to throw away. or throw out to the yard or what have you. Let's see. The other thing I have here in my notes is sugar alternatives. Sugar really is bad. I mean, in very small amounts, it's okay. It's really hard not to. I have a sweet tooth, and it's really hard for me not to want to have sweet stuff. But there is alternatives. And there's healthy snacks that I found that you can do that, like I do, and you can exclude the chocolate chips, but I do peanut butter, coconut, shredded coconut, and oatmeal. And I do those as like a snack, and my kids love them too. But there's all kinds of like more natural things you can do, like make your own, fruit roll-ups, things like that. It takes more time and effort, and see, that's the thing is like a lot of us don't have the time or even the energy to really do these all natural things, and that's why it's been easier to just buy things from the grocery store. And I think that's how the people in control know we'll work them to death. They're going to come home, be too tired, so they're going to buy our poisonous food and get sick, and then buy our meds. It's a vicious cycle. But I will point out, so these sugar alternatives, they're really good, and I personally really like them. So another thing I wanted to bring to your attention that there's a farmer's market, most likely in your area, or little farmers will put up stands. Keep a lookout for those in the spring and summer. They don't have them during the winter, but this is the best way to get your fruits and vegetables, and they're most likely not going to be sprayed to death with pesticides, but they'll definitely be more fresh. I think that's the best way to taste what a real tomato will taste like, or strawberries, or what have you. All right, so I have a video for that. This lady has a little information about farmers markets. There's other places you can get food from. You can order online and get completely organic. You'll just have to look it up, Google in your area if there's an online. It is a little more expensive, but of course organic's going to be more expensive. I also have a link, let's see, for how much water to drink. So that's the biggest thing. And you don't want to drink like Dasani bottled water or anything like that. If you can get a filter for your fridge, that water's pretty good. You can get a filter for your tap. There's certain things you can do, but I mean, the well water is the best. It might not smell as good, the sulfur or what have you, but I really like well water because I know where it's coming from. Also wanted to point out coffee alternatives. I love Frappuccinos, and yeah, I'm trying to stay away from Starbucks and all that. You can make your own actually, but that's a lot of sugar and a lot of caffeine. So a caffeine alternative I found to get that energy boost is matcha tea. And it's the Japanese ceremonial tea, green tea, that they use in Japan. And I get mine from Japan. I get mine from Amazon. If you have any questions, I'll put that link in the description if I can remember. If I don't remember, leave a comment in this video underneath and I'll get you guys the link. Another thing about, food and staying healthy is exercising. And that's really hard for me because I just honestly don't have time. You got to just make time. You got to make time to study. You got to make time for work. You got to make time for your kids. There's so many things you have to make time for, and time is money. So it's like, use your time wisely. But I used to do, and I'm going to try to get back on my regiment because, man, you feel so good when you work out. Not at first because you feel like, okay, I hate this. I don't want to do it anymore. But once you get past that first initial week, really, if you stick to it, that first initial week or couple weeks, after about a month, say you do it every Wednesday, which is what I was doing. I did it every Wednesday. And after a month, I felt so good because your muscles, it helps you stand up straight. It helps you not pull anything and hurt yourself. It sweats out the toxins in your body. So whatever we are eating that's bad for us, it'll sweat it out. Also, getting rid of toxins, you need to do like a good fiber. There's lots of natural good cleanses you can do that aren't chemical cleanses. You want to just stay on a good regimen of being able to get everything out. And when you get stopped up from all this processed food and stuff, it backs you up. It's just not good for you. So just be careful of that. Another thing for us girls, I wanted to point out, this might be TMI for the boys, but use fragrance-free tampons or fragrance-free pads. If you can not do tampons, try to do that. But personally for me, I can't go without one because that's just, ugh, I don't like it. But always try to use cotton. There is organic cotton tampons out there. There's lots of healthy alternatives. If you're just looking for an alternative for medicine, for anything, there's a better method, I guess you could say. Just Google it. The internet has like everything you need, honestly. So makeup, try not to wear too much makeup. That's from like, a lot of it's like blubber from what I understand. I mean, the ingredients in your makeup is not good for you. So just be careful for that. I honestly don't wear a lot of makeup. And when I do, I get it from the dollar store. I'm not going to spend like $10 on mascara. I'm just not going to do it. But I mean, for you girls, I know I love to have a night where I go out and I can put on some makeup, some mascara, and a little bit of eyeliner, stuff like that. Try not to sleep in it. So it's not good for your eyes and stuff like that. But so yeah, and I also, to get all that makeup off, I use baby wipes, fragrance-free baby wipes, and they come in a pack. It's cheaper than getting the makeup wipes. I don't even know what's in the makeup wipes, but they usually put all this fragrance in there and stuff. It breaks my face out. So I also use hemp lotion. I use a lot of hemp products. I love hemp. I'm real big for the medical marijuana, especially the CBD, because that doesn't have any THC, but that is a wonderful plant that God provided. Now, the abuse of it, I totally disagree with. You know, people don't need to just sit around and be lazy and get high. I disagree with that. And I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but God does not like lazy people. If you need it for medical use, I'm sure that's a totally different situation then, you know. But so yeah, I use a lot of hemp lotion, and natural like shea butters, coconut oil. I don't use a lot of the on the shelf products. Like, I usually try to get to as natural as possible. But that coconut oil I use all the time for like all kinds of stuff. The Bragg's apple cider vinegar. It's really hard to take at first, but just do it. Another thing, talking about vinegar, you can put a capful of vinegar in your wash. I know with these high efficiency washers, it's like, especially the front loaders, it's like you get that weird smell, and you can even clean out your washer with the vinegar, or you can use Clorox, but I use vinegar for like a lot of my cleaning. I use vinegar and baking soda. So just go to the natural as best you can. Just Pinterest all you can on, how to clean with natural whatever, instead of using like Comet or scrubbing bubbles. Like, I can like clean my whole tub with baking soda and vinegar or whatever I might be using. Sometimes I just use baking soda, and it really does clean. A lot of people think it doesn't clean, but it really does clean. And then when I go to give my daughter a bath, I don't have to worry about all those chemicals getting in her skin, especially with a warm bath, that it'll soak in their skin more. So you just don't want to, you have to kind of think about things like that. A lot of us don't even think about it. So be careful with all that. I also use a lot of Epsom salt. I love Epsom salt and lavender. And I'll even make up an Epsom salt bath, what do you call it? Like a soak for my daughter. Like, I call it a princess bath. Like, I'll put some real pretty, like, herbal petals and stuff like that in there, and she just loves it. But it's really good for like growing pains, which brings me to, you can even make a rice pack. I make them myself. I sew them, and that's great for keeping energy costs down, because you could just warm up the heating pad in the microwave, which actually microwaves aren't really good for you, but the rice pack might be. You could put lavender on the rice pack is kind of the point I was going for. It's like everywhere you turn though, there's dangers. So unless you go and live out in the country and you live on the rough way, away from the city, away from technology, things like that, you're going to probably, run into getting sick more often. I mean, if you think about it, the farmers, they lived the rough and tough, and they lived a very long time. Let's see. Oh, another thing I use baking soda for is acid reflux. I put a half a teaspoon and put it in some warm water, like at the bottom of a cup, just put enough water to chug it down. I chug it down real fast, and then I drink some water after that. And I'm telling you what, that's the best thing. Don't do those Tums. Don't use the antacids. Those are so bad for you. Let's see. So herbal supplements. I do a lot of that. I don't do prescription medicine. I do my best to stay away from it. I know some people have to take prescription medicines. I understand that. There's always, always look for alternatives. It's really hard to not be on prescription medicines for some things. But yeah, so, and a lot of the time instead of ibuprofen, I'll take cat's claw for inflammation. So if you're looking for an alternative, like I said, just Google everything. You could probably find a thread conversation of, what people say, or you'll probably find something. But anyway, just do your research and try to find what's good for you. Be careful when mixing medications and herbs, supplements. You could really hurt yourself if you're not careful. So make sure it doesn't interfere with your supplements, your prescription and supplements. It's always good to ask a doctor. Sometimes they're a little rude about you taking supplements or taking herbal stuff, and they might not know a lot about it. Therefore, maybe it's best to go to a holistic doctor if you can find one. I've been looking for one in my area and yet to find one, but there's not many of them. So yes, that's pretty much it. I mean, sometimes you just do all you can, and if you start getting stressed out real bad over, oh my gosh, I have to buy organic, or I can't do this or that, or you're freaking out about just trying to stay on top of it, don't stress yourself out. Stress will kill you faster than anything. So just, do the best you can. God's not going to be mad at you. I mean, we're living in this time of, in days of plagues and pestilence anyway, Luke 21:11. And it's just like everywhere you turn, there's bad stuff. Oh, stay away from fast food. That's kind of a given, but just want to point that out. If you could possibly, and if you are going to do fast food, go for the healthier options. Get fruit cups instead of fries, that kind of thing. All right, guys. Well, James, I hope that answered some of your questions, and I hope that helped. I've got these links below. I really appreciate you guys liking and sharing my channel. And if you guys do have any more questions, leave a comment below on a study you would like me to cover or some questions you might have biblically, and I'll try to get to them. Okay, you guys, take care. God bless, and I'll see you next time.